Hi guys, it's SimLicy here, so welcome to another speed build. So today I am sharing a home for some grandparents, which I thought would be so much fun to do here in Oasis Springs because recently I saw this image of, I guess it was a trailer home. That's what I'm going to call this house anyways, but it was kind of like this makeshift manufactured home with this RV kind of sticking out of the front of the house. I thought it was really cool. I will link the image down below. If I do forget, because sometimes I do, please remind me and I will put the image down so you guys can see it if you're interested, because I thought it was kind of an interesting home. It kind of reminds me of maybe California or Nevada, maybe something like that if you guys are familiar with those areas. Kind of like this Oasis Springs world, because Oasis Springs definitely reminds me of California, and I think now that we have Strangerville, that reminds me more of Nevada or Arizona, probably more Arizona. Just in case you guys didn't know, I live in California, so I always feel like Oasis Springs reminds me a little bit of home because I actually live in kind of a deserty place in California, and I just really like it. I really like this type of environment, and I'm really happy that we have it in The Sims, and I really like this house. I think this house is so fun. I really wanted it to look kind of out of date, maybe even a little bit mid-century modern, so I used a lot of stuff from the Get Famous expansion pack because I felt like it suited the idea that I had for this elderly couple. And as for their careers, I'm not exactly sure what they have done for a living. I definitely imagine that they are retired now. They're just enjoying their life here in the desert. I did put a bar in the back. I was going to put a hot tub, but it didn't quite look right to me, so you'll see me mess with that in a little while. But I'm not really sure what they did for a living. I did create the Sims though, so you will see them in a couple of the screenshots. They're so cute. They are some of my favorite Sims. I'm very excited to include them in my save file. And today I actually spent a very long time just creating Sims for my save, and I'm really happy. I came up with so many different personalities. I'm not sure if all of them will be like fully in depth as most of my Sims, because just in case you guys don't know, for my save file I'm going to include households for all of the houses that I have decorated, and they will have backstories, they will have relationships, they will have skills, careers, all of those types of things. And then I also have empty houses, because a few of you guys have asked me if I'm going to have empty houses that you guys can just move your own Sims into. Every world will have at least one. The only world that has 2 empty houses is Windenburg, and then also the city living world. What is that called? San Myshuno. San Myshuno, because there will be a few empty apartments, so multiple of those, and they will be kind of like base houses, so they will be fully landscaped and structured, and then they will also have their appliances and their like kitchens and stuff, so you can move in and furnish them. And then after my save is complete, I will go through and decorate all of them, so they'll be available on my gallery fully furnished if you want them that way too. But what I was talking about with the Sims that I was creating today, I'm thinking about just having extra Sims in the catalog that either you can play with or they'll just be extra people around, because there's so many personalities that I can think of. And plus, when the Sims just generate townies or just random Sims to fill in positions for like the food stalls or whatever, they look kind of crazy. So I'm not exactly sure how many I will create. I'm not really sure if they'll have backstories or what, but I thought I'd mention that to you guys in case you guys had any ideas or thoughts about that, so definitely let me know. But here you can see that the structure of this house is coming together, and this little bit that is poking out of the front is that RV that I was mentioning. So in the picture that I will link, it looks like an RV to me. I'm not really sure if that's what it is, but I think it turned out to be pretty cute. I really like it a lot. I had a lot of fun just decorating this house and giving it a lot of personality. Grandparents' homes are some of my favorites to decorate, honestly, and especially these kind of mid-century themed houses. I feel like they're just a lot of fun, and they have just tons of personality, and I just really enjoyed a lot. And I actually really enjoyed the landscaping. I actually made the landscaping pretty lush in this build. Considering it's in the desert, I actually give it some greenery and grass, and I was kind of imagining that they're the old type of people that really care about their yard, like the appearance of their lawn and stuff. Maybe the grandpa really likes to take care of his lawn, so maybe he waters it every day, and he's the only one in this neighborhood that has green grass, and he is just all about it. I was also thinking that they are the type of elderly Sims that would go to the casino a lot and like play the slots and drink and just kind of have a lot of fun. I imagine that they are very like gregarious and they are kind of jokesters. I think I did give one of them the goofball trait. I can't remember if I gave both of them the goofball trait, but I just imagine that they have a lot of fun. And if you guys remember back when I created Miss Liz's house, which was that pinkish mid-century modern house that I built in the other neighborhood in this kind of desert area of Oasis Springs, the more green one anyways. But Miss Liz's house, she had a poker table in her garage, and I mentioned in that video how I wanted her to have like a club of elderly Sims that played poker together. And I definitely think I'm going to have these Sims join that club, and I think that's going to be so adorable and a lot of fun. I'm really excited about it, and I just really enjoyed creating this household in general. I gave the grandpa Sim some like tattoos. We have some really cool ones in the catalog that I thought suited him really nicely, and he kind of has this old kind of 50s look to him with his hair and stuff. I just really enjoyed creating them, and I really enjoy creating Sims. I'm sorry I don't record them. I'm not exactly sure why I don't really record creating my Sims. I do know mostly for my save, I've made so many changes to my Sims over time that I think it doesn't really make sense to share them because I do change their outfits and make adjustments as I think more about their story. So I think that's probably why, but I don't know. Some of you guys do ask every once in a while for me to share my Sims creations, but I just don't record them, so I'm sorry. But we will see them when my save is complete. I will introduce a lot of them and show them to you guys, probably just my favorites. I've mentioned a few times how I've been thinking about doing world overviews, and I'm not sure if I will. I have wanted to in the past, and I still kind of want to, but I feel like that's going to be a lot to make a separate video for each world. So I'm not exactly sure how I should do it. We still have time, so I'm going to be kind of planning that. And as always, if you guys have any ideas or suggestions on that, maybe just like my favorite households, will probably be an easier thing to tackle, and it won't be too much. But I'm still going to be doing my starter homes because I want to show all those to you guys because I'm really proud of them. So we'll see how it goes, but I'm definitely like getting really excited about finishing this. I mean, we're still like a couple months away from finishing it, but I am kind of closing in on a lot of the neighborhoods, and I actually am halfway finished with my last house in Brindleton Bay, and I am so excited about that. It's the Delgado family, and I am building them a big house on the lot that they live in because I mentioned how I wasn't really sure if I was going to renovate their house. I just don't really like that one, and so I completely just started from scratch, and I'm so happy that I did because that house is so beautiful. I forgot how much I liked building family homes in that world. Brindleton Bay is seriously the most beautiful world in my opinion. I really like it a lot, and I love the building style. And it's been so long since I've built family homes there because I built so many after Cats and Dogs was released that I pretty much had enough to fill up that world for my save anyways. I think I've only built a couple. I built the house for the Hecking family, and then I did Katarina's house. There's only been like a couple that I've finished like since I've planned on actually completing a save file, so it was really nice going back and building it. But like I said, I'm only halfway finished. It's taking a long time because it's a really big house, and I finished all of the exterior, all of the landscaping, and now I have to go on to the interior, and it's going to take a while to furnish, so I'm not sure if it's going to be a two-part build. Let me know what you guys think about that. I know a lot of you guys in the past haven't really minded two-part builds, but I don't know, I really prefer just making one video, so we'll see how it goes. But anyways, I have been very rambly today, but the house has pretty much come together. I am just working on this back area. I kind of struggled with this back area a lot. I felt like it looked a little bit strange, but I didn't want to add like a bunch of detail. I wanted to keep it quite simple because I really wanted to have this big porch on the back, and I mess with having this hot tub so many times, but in the end, like I said, I do end up just having a bar because I felt like that was just a little bit more practical than having a hot tub because it's Oasis Springs. It's going to be hot most of the year, so I wasn't really sure how much use Sims would get out of it. But I still like the idea of having it, so you could definitely place it, I think, if you would like to. And the way I end up having the backyard, there's also space to probably put a pool or even one of those toddler pools, because that might be a little bit more useful too. But here you'll just see me struggle with the back a lot. I mess with the shape of the house, I mess with the patio, but I do really like it in the end, and I'm so happy that I spent so much time on it because I think the backyard ends up being a really nice area. And something that I noticed, I think I've noticed it recently on a couple builds, but not this bad. Every time I would mess with the half walls and like add a new fence or add a new half wall, it would completely erase all of the wallpaper that I had on those half walls. It is so frustrating. So you'll probably see that. I think in the end, I don't end up having half walls all around this porch. I think I use glass fence, and then part of it has the half wall. I think that's what I end up doing, but here I am changing the shape of the yard, so I decided to have the back area mostly desert and then just like this side grass area, and then back here I just do a little bit of landscaping. I have a little seating area that I thought was pretty cute. And then I have a couple of planter boxes and a few random things. And then here on the patio, I do end up using this barbecue with that whole set that came with Perfect Patio because I felt like that would just look really nice. I did want to use that other barbecue that I think, what did it come with? Toddler stuff? I think it might have, but that colorful one that I had out for a second, it looks very retro. I felt like it was very appropriate for this build, but in the end, I felt like the Perfect Patio one was just a little bit better. And then there in the desert area of the back, or the sandy area, whatever you want to call it, I just put a tree and a little bit of grass, and then I do a pathway leading out to it. So they don't have a whole lot of grass, but I felt like it was just enough to kind of make it pop and make it look like the people that live here take care of it. And I was going to add these sprinklers, but they just didn't quite look right to me. So maybe you could add them if you want to play with it. It's up to you, but I felt like they just looked a little bit weird. And here I am just working on some of the landscaping. The landscaping for this build is pretty much the same throughout. I use those low-lying kind of orangey flowers. I really like those. I use them a lot. And then I just mix them with some rocks and some cacti and also these debug agave plants. I cannot do a desert build without them anymore. Ever since I found them, I forget how long ago it was. It's been a while. But ever since I found them in the debug menu, I cannot landscape without them anytime I landscape in one of these environments. But over here, I do create a little seating area, and I felt like this patio furniture was so perfect. And then I just put this little candle and plant decoration. I thought this was a really cute area. I didn't test it to make sure the Sims could sit there. It looks like it's a little bit close, so I will check it before I upload it to the gallery. And yeah, that's basically it for the backyard. I do add a few other little decorations like some gnomes and I think a couple flamingos. I thought those were so cute, and definitely I think that suits this type of build a lot, and I really like that. And then here I'm just switching up some of the windows. I felt like these windows that came with Get Famous worked perfectly for this build. I was so happy to have them. But there I just placed a couple of the flamingos, and I'm so happy that we have a few different swatches of those because I felt like it just made it look that much better, like I wasn't using the same flamingo over and over. And I think I also sized one of them down, and yeah, that looked a little bit better to me too. And then there I just placed that half wall because at this point I was still going to leave the hot tub, and I thought that would create kind of like a privacy wall, but it ends up working really well for the way I put the counters and the barbecue, so it all worked out. And then here I just have a little dining table out in the back, and I love these yellow chairs. I thought the pop of yellow was just a lot of fun and really pretty. And then here I was going to use that barbecue again, and then I was going to use this one. Like I said, it was just kind of a struggle. Here I was going to make it smaller. I forgot how much I actually messed with this because I really spent a very long time on the back. But like I said, I'm happy that I did that because I feel like it just ended up being a nice area. And I actually think I'd go back at the very end of the build and add a few clutter decorations because I think at this point, once I placed everything over here, I was kind of really sick of messing with this patio and adding decorations. So I just add the barbecue area, and then at the very end of the build, I go back and add a few, just like pots and some of those decorations that we got, I think with Perfect Patio, but it's like those barbecue utensils. We'll see it at the end of the video anyways, but here I am just placing those counters, and originally I was going to use them in this black kind of with a black top, and I don't know what I was thinking. It doesn't match at all, so I switched it to those sandy colors, and I felt like that just suited the build a little bit nicer. But here we are moving on into the interior, and so of course I used a lot of the furniture that came with Get Famous because of the mid-century style, and I really just tried to make everything look outdated. So hopefully I did achieve that, but I am really happy with the way it turned out. I think this living area especially is very cute. And right here I'm trying to create my own sort of built-in units for the TV. I felt like this would look very old style, and I'm really happy with the way it turned out. Of course I used the older boxier TV because I felt like they're not going to have this big flat screen modern TV. I also didn't give them a computer, by the way. I did give them a tablet, and I thought that was kind of funny because my grandma recently turned 74, and I called her for her birthday, wished her happy birthday, and she told me that my uncle has just bought her a tablet for her birthday, and she was so excited about it. I think she's like setting up a Facebook and all those kinds of things, so I am thrilled. I think it's going to be so much fun because she is a hoot. She's one of my favorite people ever, and Yeah, so it kind of reminded me of her having the tablet. So I think I just put that on the coffee table. But if you wanted to have a computer desk, I would probably put it in that little room that's to like the back of the house on the way out. I put the washer and dryer there, so they have a laundry room. So if you don't want to do laundry, that would make a great office space. If not, you could probably squeeze it in somewhere in this area. And actually, probably the front entryway to the house would work too, because that's kind of just a seating area. I don't know. We'll see it as it comes together. Of course, I'm sure you guys can figure it out if you decide to play in this house. And the download link will, of course, be in the description. I do get questions every once in a while asking how you can download it. They're all on the gallery, and I always put a link to my builds in the description so you guys can find it easily. But the living area is pretty much came together. I just put a few decorations over here. It's basically one big room with the kitchen, dining, and living area. And then that little room that's in the entryway to the house just has like a side table and then a chair. And then there's one bedroom, of course, because this is just one elderly couple that lives here. And then they have one bathroom, and then the laundry room on the back exit way to the house. I never know what to call that. Mud room, I guess, is probably the appropriate way to call that. I've mentioned that before, and I think some of you guys said mud room. And yeah, I always just go for back porch, even though it's not a porch at all. It's inside the house. I have no idea. But here I am working on the kitchen area, and I use these cabinets that came with base game. I feel like for mid-century styles, these ones work the best, and I just went with a really neutral color because originally I was planning on using like a pretty obnoxious like blue or green or orange or something, but I felt like just keeping it a little bit more simple because I felt like, I don't know, I just felt like it would look a little bit better, and there was so much like color and stuff going on with all of the furniture that I tried to keep the walls and the floors and the cabinets and stuff just a little bit more toned down. This area over here, by the way, I really like. I haven't used this mid-century furniture, at least this style, a whole lot since we got Get Famous. I feel like it just looks a little bit strange in my opinion, but I felt like here it just worked perfect. So I'm really happy about that. And this poster, you guys, that we got with Get Famous is one of my favorite pieces of artwork that we have in game. I love that image. I think it is really pretty, but I definitely felt like it suited this build. And then over here, I'm just decorating the countertops, cluttering it up with a bunch of stuff. I really wanted it to look very lived in. I felt like this couple would have, you know, just knickknacks over the years and just things that they've collected and held on to for whatever reason. And they're not really worried about being too tidy or messy, so they don't really care too much if everything's kind of shoved together. And I did playtest this build actually for a little while, and everything seemed to work just fine in the kitchen. Of course, they have plenty of counter space, so that shouldn't be a problem. I do end up putting a cat food bowl on the counter there at the very end because I decided that they seemed like cat people to me, at least what I had in my mind. So I did create them to have 2 cats, and originally I was going to put the litter box on the back porch, but I do end up putting it in the bathroom, and I think it all works out well. And then here in the entryway, I also end up putting a cat tree, which I totally forgot about until now. So I put that in here. I used the one that came with, I think, my first pet stuff because it kind of has this like cat face and it looks a little bit cutesy, so I really liked that. And then here on this side table, I just cluttered up with some pictures and a few different little decorations. I think I even put a gnome up here. Yeah, this gnome right here, it looks like it has like cake in his hand and like a little party kazoo type deal. I'm not sure exactly what that is, but I really like that one, and I thought it was pretty adorable over here. So there in the corner where I put the coat rack is where I end up putting the cat tree, and I felt like it was the perfect spot to put it because there's something that I want to use a lot in builds, especially when I create a household that I'm planning on having a cat, but they're a little bit big and bulky and they don't always work, but I felt like this corner right here was perfect for it, so that's the one that I used. And then I used a couple of those pictures that we got with Strangerville that had like the old cars. I felt like that was definitely appropriate for this build too, and I ended up using another one in the bedroom. I think there's 3 different swatches that have like the old cars and the kind of diner scenes, especially with the image I had for the dad, or not the dad, the husband. I don't know if they're parents, maybe they have kids. Maybe I'll give them kids in my save and grandkids. I should give them grandkids for my save. That would be so cute. I really like that idea. So yeah, maybe I'll do that. But here I am decorating the laundry room area, and I used this blue color for the washer and dryer because I felt like it just looked really nice. And then I just put a few decorations on these shelves, just tried to clutter it up a little bit. And I think it ends up being a really nice area. I also end up adding, I don't think it's on camera though. I think I added it when I was going to take the screenshots because I thought it would be cute, but it's actually those, what do you call them? They're like those Roombas, those little vacuum things, those little automated floor cleaners. I ended up putting one in there too, the one that has the pancake on the top. I always forget about those items, and I think they are so fun. I'm actually really happy that we have them in game. But for whatever reason, I never remember to add them. But I did think of it when I was taking the screenshots, and I thought it would be so perfect, especially with them having a couple of cats, because they have like the piles of hair that they leave on the ground, and then the cats can ride them. So I thought that would be really adorable. And then here I'm going into the debug menu to pull out a few decorations, because recently, if you guys watched my last apartment renovation, I learned that we have this hairdryer in the debug menu. And I was so excited about it. I couldn't wait to use it in a build, because I didn't actually end up using it in that build because it only comes in black and it wasn't really working for the color scheme and plan that I had for that apartment. But in here, I thought it worked, and I was just really happy about that. And I used some other debug objects like some makeup and that nail file. And then over here is their bedroom. Now this bed isn't very mid-century modern, but it's very grandparents in my opinion with the quilt. So I definitely had to use it. It is from Cats and Dogs, in case you guys don't know. I think it is one of the prettiest beds that we have in game. I really do like it a lot, but it's a little bit hard to use in the more like pattern swatches because they're a little bit crazy. But I felt like this one with the soft like purples and whites, I thought it worked for this build. I mean, it doesn't necessarily match, but I mean, that's totally okay. I wasn't really going for a whole matchy look with this build, but I thought it worked anyways. And then there I just hung up a calendar in the front room. And then this is the other swatch of the painting that I ended up going with the old diner and the car. I thought it was so perfect. And I was going to put this shelf right there. I don't think I ended up leaving that shelf that's above the bed. I didn't quite like the way it looked. And then here I'm just pulling out some postcards. I do imagine that they do a bit of traveling, and I don't know if they have postcards from people that they've met or they just kind of collect postcards as they travel around. Because do you guys do that? My husband and I actually drove across the country at the beginning of summer, and we collected a few postcards from across the country, and we also do refrigerator magnets. That's something I like to collect, but I imagine that they would probably go out to Granite Falls and like take the RV out, and yeah, maybe they'll collect postcards along the way. But here I am just going to the back patio to add the final decorations, but we are coming up on the screenshots. This is basically it for the build. I hope you guys have enjoyed. I've had a very rambly voiceover tonight, so hopefully you guys don't mind, or at least hopefully it was entertaining anyways. But yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this build. I thought it was so much fun to do, but I hope you guys do enjoy the screenshots, and I just want to thank you guys so much for watching, and please leave any comments or suggestions that you have, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye!
Place too long. It's time for me to be moving on. Moving on. Yes, it is. Got no regret. Ain't nothing gonna wrong. It's just me following the line that the stars have drawn.